Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be giving my expert take on whether you should or shouldn't publicly share your salary information. Now, I have seen multiple videos on TikTok, on LinkedIn, sometimes on Instagram of people and workers sharing their current salary. So if they just received a job offer, they would go online and make a quick video about what the offer was and whether or not they accepted it or whether or not the salary offer was trash. And there's also a new feature on LinkedIn that allows you to publicly list what your current salary is. But just because you're able to doesn't mean that you should do it. In fact, doing so can hurt you and hinder you in ways that you may not know. I know that there's recently been a huge movement surrounding pay and salary transparency, with other people sharing this type of information in hopes of helping the next person so that they're not underpaid or undervalued. So without further ado, I want to discuss and kind of weigh the pros and cons of sharing your salary and pay information publicly to the whole world. Let's get right into it. Let me start off by saying this. I understand that for some people, for the ones who do this to genuinely help people, to make sure that they understand that they're not being underpaid and that they're not getting a garbage offer and that some company is not trying to lowball them, I get it. With some of these videos, you are able to see how much someone else is making in your industry. So for example, if you are a project manager and you have just received a job offer from a company and you realize that it's a little bit lower than what someone else who has the same experience, the same background, the same education as you, then that can encourage you to ask for more money. So I get the thought process behind it. Again, for those who genuinely want to help people and are doing it from a good place, not people who are boasting or bragging. And these videos can be helpful in many ways. It can inspire you to negotiate a higher salary or realize that a company is underpaying you, and that can be a huge red flag for you to reject that offer, say hell no, and find a better offer that's going to pay you what you deserve and what you should be making. But on the flip side, the first point that I want to mention in this video is that before you up and make a TikTok video about how much you make, or insert whatever that number is on your LinkedIn profile, ask yourself if you can deal with whatever consequences may come with you publicly posting or sharing that information. So since social media has pretty much taken over, right? There are all types of different platforms and employees are using them to launch brands. People have side hustles, all kinds of stuff, right? Social media is everywhere. There are a lot of regulations and rules, so to speak, that companies are now including in their HR policies and in employment contracts. So before you just up and make a video, make sure you know if there are any type of guidelines or red tape surrounding if you can publicly share your salary information. Now, I have seen this happen where someone will share their information, their salary information publicly, and then they get fired. And is it wrong? Not necessarily, especially if you violated a particular rule or, again, a guideline that is in the handbook. And I know that many people do not read their employee handbook from start to finish, but maybe this is something that you want to specifically inquire about to HR before you do it. Just so you know if there are any consequences or ramifications that you may face after you do this, because I would hate for you to, call yourself standing up for inequality and you want to help the next person, but then it blows back on you and all of a sudden you're without a job. That is never a good look, especially when this can be avoided. And I understand that people think that even if your Instagram page is set to private, even if your Facebook account is set to where you can post things and only your friends can see it, I guarantee you there is no such thing as private information on the internet. And once you put it out there, you cannot take it back. And you can also be hit with a lawsuit. Sometimes companies want pay information, salary information to stay confidential for a number of reasons. And if you share that information publicly, you can be violating a term or a clause or some sort of agreement in the contract, and you definitely don't want to do that. Another way that this can blow back on you is it can cause recruiters or HR managers in your job search to deny or not accept whatever salary that you are requesting. So let's say you are currently job searching at this very moment, and maybe you're a communication specialist and you make $76,000. Maybe you're going for the exact same title, so you still want to be a communication specialist. You'll be making a lateral move, but you want to make $90,000 at this new company. Well, since you have that information publicly, that kind of takes away your ability to negotiate, because they already know how much you make, and they're going to be looking like, why is this person looking to make $13,000 or $15,000 more doing the exact same thing here with the same skills, the same education? So that's another way that you can be shooting yourself in the foot. When it comes to salary, always play poker, right? And I don't know how to play poker, but I do know how to play the game of salary, right? So if you don't have it out there and no one knows what it is, you can use that to your advantage. Heck, for the most part, you can say whatever it is that you want to. But if you're giving them a lower number and you're asking for more money, then, especially if you're going to be doing the same thing, then they're going to be looking at you sideways, and that's something that you don't want. So when it comes to your job search, you want to always maintain the confidentiality of your existing salary. You don't want to give them what that number is, especially if that number is higher. Now, there is nothing wrong with asking for more money, but when you keep your salary to yourself, it allows you to kind of play your cards right. And then sometimes what can happen is that you will get into this back and forth conversation, or having to explain yourself about why you want to make this additional money doing the same thing. And who wants to do that, right? Either pay me the 90 grand or the 95 grand or whatever it is I'm asking for, or I'm out. But sometimes, again, when you share that information up front and when it's publicly accessible, you kind of take away your right and the ease of negotiating more money. Something else to consider is, are you comfortable with a world of strangers, right? A billion people knowing how much money you make? Now, me, myself personally, I am, or tend to be, a very private person. I will share my experiences, both good and bad. I'll share information about my career. I share, that I landed my very first six-figure role, but there are certain things, a lot of things rather, that I prefer to keep to myself. Just for privacy sakes. And again, the internet is so powerful, and you think that you're just sharing this one video or this one post to, your 200 LinkedIn connections, your 500 Instagram followers, but you are not. You are sharing whatever content that you post or put out there to the world, because again, even though your page may be set to private, somebody can easily screen record it, screenshot it, and send it to the next person, send it to the next person. It's almost like playing a game of telephone through social media. So I like to tell people that the internet is a very vast, large space with people that you don't know. And are you comfortable with somebody who may be clear across the world knowing that you earn $250,000? And we all know that there can be consequences to that sometimes, right? So it is not as hard as you think for somebody to find out where you live, where you stay, and very personal location information about you. And so I don't want to say that you can get robbed or anything like that, but you have to think about it. It can be a possibility, right? We see a lot of these celebrities get their houses robbed. They sometimes get robbed. They get stuck up, all from putting a post on social media, sharing their location. And with you sharing your personal earning and salary information, that can leave you incredibly vulnerable, more than you think. So before you share that information out into the world, understand that, again, once you put it out there, there is no taking it back. And are you comfortable with total strangers knowing that kind of personal, private information? If you are, or maybe you were thinking of sharing your salary information on social media or on a public platform, I encourage you to maybe leave an anonymous Indeed or Glassdoor review instead. It still has the same effect. You can list your title and your salary information, and you can choose to be anonymous, whether you are a current employee or whether you were a past employee. Again, I know that this is a very touchy subject because, again, I get that people want to help other people. Like, hey, I'm sharing my, tech salary or my project management salary so that you know that you're getting paid what you're worth, and so that you know if a company is lowballing you and all of that. I get the whole pay equality, people want to help other people sort of thing. But there are ways that you can support this movement, so to speak, without jeopardizing yourself. So again, post an anonymous review on Glassdoor, share direct feedback with your company. And if you do share your salary information, share it one-on-one with someone. So maybe someone is reaching out to you, perhaps they're going through an interview process with your employer, they're looking to get into the company, and they reach out and ask, hey, so-and-so, I'm interviewing for this position, our backgrounds and experiences are similar, do you mind sharing with me how much you make? And you can share it with that person one-on-one over the phone versus typing it in a message. I don't recommend that either because, again, it can be screenshotted. And I know that verbal conversations can be recorded, but the risk is different than it is if you were typing it out, if you're leaving some sort of like a paper trail, so to speak. I hope this provided some insight on whether you should or shouldn't share your salary or pay information online. Again, there's a way to do it so that it doesn't blow back on you. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit the like button down below. If you enjoyed watching this video and you found it helpful, but you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can stay in tune with my content. And if you want to receive more career-related content and tips from me, feel free to follow and connect with me on social media. My LinkedIn profile name is Tamika Thompson. You can also follow me on Instagram @_Mika Thompson. And I do have an email list that you can subscribe to by clicking the link in the description box down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all next time with another video. Bye!